Making headlines this hour. Minister of Foreign Affairs meets with Malta's Deputy Prime Minister during an official visit to Malta. The Ministry of Health says the Maldives is deliberating the implementation of a generational ban on smoking and is engaging in consultations with leading international organizations. 3 state-owned companies have been
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naeem. President Dr. Mohammad Moise calls on the public to avoid activities that harm physical and mental health, urging a collective shift towards healthier lifestyle. The President shared this appeal on social media in a message marking World Health Day, underscoring the importance of well-being. Speaking in this regard, President Dr. Moise emphasized the need for a collective shift towards healthier habits and reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening the nation's healthcare system. This year's World Health Day theme, Healthy Beginnings, Hopeful Futures, focuses on maternal and newborn health, aiming to reduce preventable deaths and promote a long-term well-being for women and children. The government has made significant strides in healthcare with a focus on prevention, including the establishment of a nationwide primary healthcare system for early disease detection and health screenings. Additionally, major upgrades have been made to Dharmawanta and Hulumale hospitals, and plans to expand IGMH by 117 beds are underway to further bolster healthcare systems in the Male region. President Dr. Mohammad Moise has appointed Justice Hussain Shahid, the newest Supreme Court judge, as a member of the Judicial Service Commission, JSC. Justice Shahid, who was appointed to the Supreme Court on 19th March, replaces Justice Husnu Sood following his resignation amid a corruption investigation. During the appointment ceremony at the President's office, Justice Shahid took his oath in the presence of the President, with Supreme Court Justice Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim administering it. Justice Shahid brings extensive academic and professional experience to the role, having studied law and Islamic Sharia at Al-Azhar University in Cairo and the Kulliyatul Dirasatul Islamiyya in the Maldives. His career includes key judicial positions such as Magistrate of Fedu Magistrate Court, Senior Magistrate at Holudu Magistrate Court, Criminal Court Judge, and a High Court Judge since 2018. He became Acting Senior Judge in November 2022 with his confirmation in October 2023. Foreign Minister Dr. Abdullah Khalil meets with Dr. Ian Borg, Malta's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs and Tourism, during an official visit to Malta. The Maldives Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the talks focused on strengthening bilateral ties, advancing shared interests, and a deepening collaboration between the two island nations, highlighting the striking similarities and shared values between the Maldives and Malta. Both ministers underscored the significance of revitalizing their relationship despite their geographical distance. The visit, described by both parties as a pivotal step, highlighted the importance of closer cooperation across sectors, including expertise exchanges and joint efforts on shared priorities. The ministry has said environmental sustainability was a key topic, with both nations reaffirming their potential partnership in sustainable development. Economic matters featured attracting foreign investment and building a stronger, more inclusive economic partnership. They also expressed enthusiasm for strengthening people-to-people ties through collaboration in tourism, fisheries, and higher education. Particular focus was given to expanding cooperation in the education sector as a cornerstone for deeper engagement. Accompanied by senior officials including Dr. Hala Hamid and Hassan Hussain Shihab, Minister Khalil's visit included meetings with other Maltese officials to explore further opportunities for collaboration. The Foreign Ministry expressed optimism that the talks would pave the way for future partnerships across various sectors, ushering in a new era of Maldives-Malta relations. The Ministry of Health says that the Maldives is deliberating the implementation of a groundbreaking generational ban on smoking and is engaging in consultations with leading international organizations as part of a holistic public health strategy. Under the guidance of President Dr. Mohamed Moise, the Health Ministry has initiated discussions with the World Health Organization (WHO) and the United Nations Children's Fund (UNICEF), addressing the feasibility and implications of this ambitious proposal. The initiative forms a cornerstone of the President's broader commitment to reducing tobacco consumption across the nation. Central to this initiative is the concept of a generational ban, which seeks to prevent future generations from taking up smoking. This would be achieved by prohibiting the sale of tobacco products to individuals born in or after a designated year. President Dr. Moise first introduced the proposal during the Rayitung Naiko podcast, articulating a vision for fostering a smoke-free generation. The President has invited public participation in determining the most appropriate starting birth year for the proposed ban. 3 options, 2000, 2004 or 2007, were presented in a public announcement accompanied by a poll to solicit citizen input. Under this policy, individuals born in or after the selected year would face a lifelong prohibition on purchasing or using tobacco products. President Dr. Moise has actively sought to engage the public on this critical issue, encouraging citizens to express their opinions and provide feedback. He also elaborated on the rationale for targeting younger demographics, highlighting that intervening at an earlier age, particularly among individuals, said addressing smoking before dependency develops is sustainable. The Health Ministry has confirmed that consultations with key stakeholders remain underway. The WHO and UNICEF had contributed essential insights into the successful implementation of a generational ban, according to the ministry, focusing on enforcement mechanisms, public awareness campaigns, and support systems for current smokers attempting to quit. In addition to this proposed initiative, President Dr. Moise has appealed to current smokers to abandon tobacco use and urged businesses involved in its import and sale to reconsider their roles. This multi-pronged approach underscores the government's dedication to reducing tobacco consumption across all segments of society. Government awards contracts to 3 state-owned companies to complete unfinished school infrastructure works across 18 islands. The contracts, valued at $7.4 million, were awarded to the Maldives Transport and Contracting Company (MTCC), Fenaka Corporation Limited, and Road Development Corporation Limited (RDC). MTCC was awarded the contract to complete the unfinished work in schools in 15 islands, while RDC will handle incomplete school projects in 2 islands. Fenaka Corporation will be completing the pending school work in 1 island. Maldives National University (MNU) is exploring a partnership with the University of Waikato, New Zealand to develop curricula and boost academic research. During a private visit to New Zealand, MNU Vice Chancellor Dr. Aishat Shehnaz Adam met with the University of Waikato's senior leadership, including Vice Chancellor Professor Neil Quigley and Senior Deputy Vice Chancellor Professor Alistair Jones. The discussions focused on collaboration in areas such as PhD programs for Maldivian students, curriculum development, student and staff exchanges, and joint research. The University of Waikato will also provide supervisors for MNU's PhD programs. An agreement between the two universities is expected soon, aiming to enhance the Maldives education sector and create new opportunities for students and staff. The Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shehnaz, is an alumni of Waikato University. The Maldives has inaugurated its first ever salt manufacturing facility in Diddu, Ha Alif Atoll, marking a significant milestone for the country's domestic industry. A collaboration between a Maldivian company, M Deep Investment, and its Japanese partner, the facility will produce premium quality edible salt, leveraging the Maldives' abundant natural resources. Built on a 15,000 square foot plot leased for 15 years, the factory was developed after quality tests in Japan revealed the expectational mineral profile of Maldives seawater. The facility uses sustainable methods such as solar evaporation to produce 3 types of salt, with plans to explore salt for fish curing. Regular quality tests will be conducted in both the Maldives and Japan to maintain high standards. The company plans to expand with 4 more production facilities, aiming to serve resorts and inhabited islands. Saudi Arabia, the world's top oil exporter, slashed crude oil prices for Asian buyers in May to their lowest in 4 months, following a recent shock decision by the OPEC Plus oil group to speed up oil output hikes.
State oil company Saudi Aramco cut the May official selling price OSP for flagship Arab light crude by $2.30 to $1.20 a barrel, above the average of Oman and Dubai prices, a pricing document from the producer showed. The drop marks the biggest decline in more than 2 years and is the second consecutive month Aramco has lowered its prices. The company also lowered May prices for other grades it sells to Asia by $2.30 per barrel. 8 OPEC Plus countries in a surprise decision agreed on Thursday to advance their plan to phase out oil output cuts by increasing output by 411,000 barrels per day in May, triple the expected increase, representing around 0.4% of global supply. The news, together with an escalating global trade war, sent oil prices plunging nearly 11% in the week, ending April 4th, hitting more than 3-year lows. Prior to the latest decision by OPEC Plus, analysts surveyed by Reuters had expected Arab Light for Asia to be cut by $1.80 to $2, tracking the steep declines in benchmark prices in March. The spot premium of Dubai averaged $1.38 per barrel in March, down from $3.33, the average in February. The drops are also due to more Russian supply returning to Asia, following disruptions in January and February caused by US sanctions on Russian energy trade.
US President Donald Trump reiterated his desire for US to take over the Gaza Strip, telling reporters during an Oval Office meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu it would be a good thing.
Trump's proposal, which Netanyahu expressed enthusiastic support for on April 7th, was put forward multiple times during the opening weeks of his administration and has been globally condemned as a proposal for ethnic cleansing.
Well, you know how I feel about the Gaza Strip. I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate, and I think it's something that we would be involved in, but, having a peace force like the United States there, controlling and owning the Gaza Strip would be a good thing. Because right now, all it is for years and years, all I hear about is killing and Hamas and problems. And if you take the people, the Palestinians, and move them around to different countries, and you have plenty of countries that will do that, and you really have a freedom a freedom zone. You call it the freedom zone, a free zone, a zone where people aren't going to be killed every day. That's a hell of a place. It's a, you know what I call it, a great location that nobody wants to live in because they really don't. And when they have good living, real living, where Hamas and all of the problems they have, the level of death on the Gaza Strip is just incredible. And I've said it. I don't understand why Israel ever gave it up. Israel owned it. It wasn't this man, so I can say it. He wouldn't have given it up. I know him very well. There's no way. They took oceanfront property and they gave it to people for peace. How did that work out? Not good.
Israel launched the war after Hamas-led fighters attacked southern Israel on October 7, 2023, killing some 1,200 people and taking 251 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Since then, Israel has so far killed more than 50,000 Palestinians, according to local health authorities, the majority of them civilians.
Yemenis in Sana'a inspected damage on Monday caused by a U.S. airstrike.
According to reports by Houthi-run Al Masirah TV, the strike took place in Shab al-Hafa neighborhood in the Shoub district in the capital, killing at least 4 Yemenis and injuring dozens. The U.S. has been conducting its biggest military attacks against the Yemeni group under President Donald Trump's administration since March 15. The strikes are meant to force the Iran-aligned Houthis to renounce attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, including against U.S. warships. The group has carried over 100 attacks on shipping since Israel's war with Hamas began in late 2023, saying they are acting in solidarity with Gaza's Palestinians. The attacks have disrupted global commerce and set the U.S. military off on a costly campaign to intercept missiles. Houthi leaders have said they will escalate attacks in response to the U.S. campaign.
The Kremlin said that Russia was ready to do all it could to help resolve tensions between the United States and Iran around Tehran's nuclear program, as Washington demands Tehran to do a nuclear deal with it or be bombed.
Moscow has repeatedly offered to mediate between the two sides after warnings of military action against Iran by U.S. President Donald Trump have rattled nerves across the region. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters that they are in constant consultations with their Iranian partners, including on the topic of the nuclear deal. He went on to explain that the process will continue, including in the near future, and of course Russia is ready to make every effort to do everything possible to contribute to this problem's resolution by political and diplomatic means. During his first term, Trump withdrew the U.S. from a 2015 deal between Iran and the world powers that placed strict limits on Tehran's disputed nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. Iran says it needs nuclear energy for peaceful purposes and denies it is seeking to acquire nuclear weapons. Tehran has pushed back against Trump's demands for direct talks, with a senior Iranian official issuing a warning over the weekend to neighbors that host U.S. bases that they could be in the firing line. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rybakov said last week that Trump's comments about bombing Iran only served to complicate the situation and cautioned that strikes could be catastrophic for the wider region. Russia has for the most part refrained from such sharp criticism of Trump. President Vladimir Putin has moved quickly since Trump took office to repair relations with the U.S. in a rapprochement viewed with concern by Ukraine and its European allies. Moscow has also deepened ties with Tehran since the start of the full-scale conflict in Ukraine, with the two signing a strategic partnership treaty in January.
Australia's Isabella Nichols and Hawaii native Betty Lou Sakura Johnson will square off in the quarter-finals of the World Surf League WSL stop in El Salvador after both surfers won their heats on April 7th.
The surf started out slow on Monday and slowly picked up after a late start. Nichols managed to capitalize on the conditions and scored a 7.17 out of a possible 10 points to eliminate El Salvador Pro back-to-back winner Caroline Marks of the United States. Johnson's round of 16 heat was against two-time world champion Tyler Wright of Australia. The American rising star scored 6 points on solid runs with Wright unable to match. When they meet in the quarters, Nichols and Johnson will be vying for a spot in the semifinals along with current world number 1 Katie Simmers of the United States and 2024 event runner-up Gabriella Bryan, who also hails from Hawaii.
U.S. biotechnology company Colossal Biosciences claims it has produced 3 dire wolves, a species that has been extinct for over 10,000 years, by modifying the genome of a modern-day grey wolf using dire wolf DNA found in fossils.
Colossal released footage on Monday, April 7th, which it said featured direwolf adolescent cubs Romulus and Remus. According to Colossal, some of the direwolf fossils their team utilized for DNA extraction included a 13,000-year-old direwolf tooth and a 72,000-year-old inner ear bone. One female puppy, Khaleesi, was also part of the successful birthed cubs, they added. Reuters could not independently verify Colossal's claims nor the location and the date of the footage. Corey Bradshaw, professor of global ecology at Australia's Flinders University, was skeptical of Colossal's claim and the actual practicality of reviving an extinct species like the dire wolf. As Bradshaw explained, it's practically impossible to modify the entire genomes of animals that have been extinct for thousands of years due to factors like DNA degradation. Colossal Biosciences was founded in 2021 and claims it is the first biotechnology company to use CRISPR, or clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats gene editing technology, to research species de-extinction. Colossal also said it has recently cloned critically endangered red wolves using the same technology, as well as the hybrid colossal woolly mouse, mice genetically engineered to possess traits of the long-extinct woolly mammoth.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.
මාද දතුරු හොරා launch ferry එකක් MPS එකේ හෙම්බේර terminal අදී කොළමාද terminal බෙන් පුරුපු process වනේ හොරවාද මේ මේකට හලවුණා මේ විතර first lot එක කැනඩාලෙන් දාන්න launch එක බෙන් පුරන් එම අනේ රාජ්‍යම් වඩා ගන්නවා ගඩේක launch අන්න ගඩේක මේ terminal ලා කාර්යකරමු අදී අනේ පුරා ගඩේ මේ දෙහොමක 30 මීටර පුරින් හලවුණ terminal බෙන් පුරවෙන්නේ එම මේ ඒකේ තොර අලවන ටර්මිනල් හිදුමෙත් බස් අන්න පැසෙන්ජර් න බේන් කරේ නිකෝත මිකොල අලවන ඉන්තිසාම් කරේ පවාන අන්න පැසෙන්ජර් ඉෂින් අන ඒරියා බස් කන්ලාලා පවා
මේ අර මේ හිතුමයි මේ රේල්පා මේදී මේ ඉංග්‍රීසි නවන මේ ආදය මේ රටසොන් ආස ආරාපාබන් වත පුරා දතුරු වලින් මේ ආරාපේ මට්ටක වරම් මේ උදකෝ කහ ගොතක මේ අමචි පොබ රාජ්‍ය ගිසතර සුදුමුරියා ඩොක්ටර් මොහම්මද් මොයිස් එතෙබු මකම් මේ MDCC බදාට මොගෙන්දා මේ බෙර් රිටර්මන්ල ආදී උළුමාර රිටර්මනල් මේ උළුවාදී අතොල්තරේ ආදයන්නම් පරාත්තක බේනු කරවේ ගොත මේ මියගෙන ජේ බදල්ත බෙසක පොංග කොමෙන්ට් එකක් කොහොමද ඉතර ටිකක් පුරමන් දාන්න
ko visnaave mi zebra cross mihunani hadafa kamaku ektaga lavakiya etaga dance ko eta kankan korang hadafuna tanenno tankolen avasavas kollava reachang hingala hadiyama deparatu gonna bastaka kartaka sakotaka eves tantra muhim ko